You're listening to Australia's #1 tech podcast. Every week, join hosts Brad and Jason here on the Tech Webcast. Download our iPhone app, follow us on Twitter at Tech Webcast, and visit us online at techwebcast.info. Here are your hosts, Brad and Jason.
And welcome to Tech Webcast, episode number 153, with hosts Brad, Steve, and Aaron, with special guest Daria Musk.
Hey, Steve, how are you, mate?
Actually, very good.
Welcome back to the show. We've got Aaron on. Hey, Aaron.
Hey, everyone. How's it going?
I'm going well, mate. No Jason today. Again, not sure where he is. He got held up somewhere. And also, we have got a guest by the name of Daria Musk. Hello.
Hi.
Hey, how are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
That's cool. And also we got Jacob on. Hey, Jacob.
Hello, everybody.
He's sitting in having a listen. And also we got Cam Meadows. Hey, Cam.
Hi, Brad.
Welcome back to the show, mate. You were on not long ago, a while back, talking about your
about a month ago.
hangout party. And yeah, all right. So Daria, tell us about your music and how you got started.
Oh, wow. Well,
A big question.
I think how you found out probably about us was this whole amazing thing that's happened to us over the last month and a half or so on Google+.
Yes.
And so that's the most recent part of my musical story, and I can give you more background and influences and all of that. But do you want the Google+ side of things first?
Sure. Let's hear about that.
All right, cool. So basically, I'm a young singer-songwriter from America. I live about an hour and a half outside of New York City, and so I've been singing and writing songs and all of that stuff for years. You know, even though I'm young, I started doing it a long time ago when I was very young, and you know, like so many singers and so many artists, you know, just dreaming of maybe one day I could reach people all over the world. Maybe. I know it's a crazy dream, and I know everybody else thinks it's nuts. But maybe if I practiced enough and I believed enough and I played enough, maybe it could happen one day. And then let's see, it was just a few days before July 16th of this year, this summer, my older brother, who lives out in California, called me and said, "Do you need an invitation to Google+? Maybe you could be one of the first musicians on there." And I was on my way to a show, a small little club show somewhere in the middle of nowhere. And it was raining, and I said, you know, what's Google+? I got to make my sound check. I got to go. And so the next day he sent me an invite. I signed up to Google+. If you're not on there yet, definitely get on so we can all hang out there. And I spent the first few days just building up my profile, and I learned about this thing called Hangouts. And on Google+, there's this video chat feature where you can hang out on video with people from all over the world. And you can put up to 10 people in this thing called a Hangout. And so I thought maybe that'd be a really cool way to do a show. Maybe I could do a show without having to lug my amps around in the rain like I did last weekend, and I got drenched, you know. And so that's exactly what me and my producer, who's actually here with me, Ram, say hey.
Hey. Hey, Ram.
We did that. We decided to broadcast live from his little studio here in the woods in Connecticut, which is where we are. And I think I had maybe 10 people or 15 people circling me. That's what it's called when someone's following you on G+.
Yep.
At the time of the first concert, which was July 16th. And at 8 o'clock on that Saturday night, I hit start a Hangout, and we were all set up with our instruments, and I waited, and there was this terrifying moment of silence. And then at 8:01, nobody had showed up yet, and I thought, oh God, what if nobody comes, you know? And then at 8:01, bam, a face popped in, and another face, and another face, and another face, and immediately I was live with, there was a wonderful guy who I'm friends with now from Norway. And there were people from Germany and the UK and other places in America and all over the world. And Buenos Aires and everywhere, the Dominican Republic. And so we started playing and chatting with everybody, and it was such a blast. And the next thing I knew, somebody popped into the room and said, people are lining up around the block outside. They're all banging on the door, you know, to get in. And since it's limited to 10 people, they couldn't get in. And so I said, okay, go tell them that I'll keep playing. And so Everyone came up. I call everyone on G Plus the geniuses, like with a little plus sign in it, and they came up with this idea of rotating those 10 seats. So people started coming in for a couple of songs and saying hey, and meeting some people from all over the world, and then dropping out. And so that night we played for 6.5 hours straight.
Wow.
While people did that all through the night. And we ended up actually catching the attention of Chi Chu, the director of engineering for the Hangouts at Google.
Who christened it the first pro level G Plus Hangout concert.
Yeah, and so he was kind enough to sort of get in on the fly. He started to try to maybe manipulate the code to let more people in, and so it became this really exciting moment on Google Plus, and a life-changing, career-changing, heart-changing moment for me in my life. And Australia will always be really, really important to me because they're one of my favorite moments in that concert. A father from Australia popped in with his 2 little girls, and I got to watch them dance to my song with the sunlight from Sunday morning streaming into my room when it was still nighttime here. It was still Saturday night here.
Yep.
And I was like looking into the light of the future.
Wow. That's great.
We were like bending space-time.
Yeah. Yep.
It was really amazing, really incredible. And I sang one of our songs is called Foreign Cities, and I sang that song while I watched the sunrise in Norway through this guy's screen, and it just completely blew my mind. And I kept telling everyone if I wasn't so dehydrated from singing for 6.5 hours, I would have been bawling. So then, since then, we've done 2 more concerts. And Cam, who's on the line with us right now, was helpful enough to help us stream the second concert. So now, instead of just having to get into the Hangout, anybody from all over the world could watch at the same time while they were waiting to get into the room.
Right. Okay.
And so
cool.
that one exploded in numbers. I think the first concert we had 97 people rotate in and out of that first concert. The next one with Cam, we had around 9,000 people from 100 countries view that show.
You can see them.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, there's actually, if you go to whatcityisyourbedin.com, that's a fan-created map of people tagging themselves from all over the world saying that they were at that show, which is really cool. And then just recently on August 20th, we did our 3rd concert. And that one was, I think it was certainly the first Google, maybe the first Google Hangout concert, that's for sure, to be streamed through YouTube Live. And that enabled us to have all sorts of these little YouTube Live players that were shareable all over the internet. And so it's such a new technology that we don't even have hard numbers for how many people watched, but the guy, Michael Mozart, who helped us stream through YouTube Live, as he's estimating that it was, probably over 100,000 people watched, which is really wild, or maybe more. I'm afraid to say more because I can't wrap my brain around it. But and then Cam was cool enough to continue to stream that concert as well, and make sure that people in Germany and places that can't get YouTube were able to still watch. So
and you're promoting your EP too.
So everything was just really collaborative effort on G Plus, and we get to meet all these amazing people and sing for them, and it's just been really wild.
Definitely. Now, Steve, you got a question for Daria?
Yeah. How do you do your are you primarily like for pre-recorded stuff and or live, or how do you set up for a live concert, as far as if you go over to like a place to do a concert? Is it just you and or
we're just at a normal club at a normal venue? What we do there is we have a pretty cool mix. It's actually pretty much the same thing that we do in the Hangout concerts. Right now, we don't have a drummer. That's not because we don't want one. It's just because I guess it's kind of like dating and falling in love. We need to find the right person. But and that person hasn't popped into our lives quite yet. But so yeah, our most recent version of our show is basically what everybody's seeing in the Hangout, except live. So what we do is we have some of Ram's amazing pre-recorded tracks, and that we work with and play with on the fly live. And then I play guitar, both acoustic and electric guitar live, and I sing, and I do some cool stuff with different vocal effects, and I love doing all different kinds of live shows. I love doing completely stripped down, unplugged acoustic, and all the way up to all sorts of bells and whistles. I think it's all really, really fun. In fact, if you guys go look at my YouTube page, youtube.com/Daria Musk, you can see Hurricane Irene hit right where I'm standing.
Yeah, I've seen the video of that.
And we were out of power for 5 days straight, which was not fun. But one thing that we were able to do during it was I went to a coffee shop one of the days and charged up my video camera, and then came back and lit candles all around the living room and did a little candlelight concert from inside this power outed house. And so you can go see, there's 2 songs that I put up from there. So that's a good example of the other flip side of things, of doing something completely unplugged. And either way, I love to sing and we love to play.
Cool. All right. Aaron, any questions for Daria?
Yeah, really. Just I'm interested to know where do you go from here? Like have you met any other people who've been interested in broadcasting your stuff, or have you got a record on the way or anything like that?
Yeah, there's all sorts of stuff going on. It's been really, really exciting, and my life kind of went from just feeling like there were lots of big empty gaps of nothing to really going 24 hours a day. I really don't sleep anymore, and I really love it. And basically, phone's been ringing off the hook, emails jammed, and through Google Plus, and now through, it started to, right from the very first moment, get picked up by media outlets like all over the world. So I have press with photos of me and my name and talking about my music in Chinese and Portuguese and where else have we gotten, like all over Brazil and France and, really all over the place. And now I'm talking to you guys. So it's just another great example of how this is spread. And one thing that's been so wild for me is that we're getting this experience of people all over in all of these different countries telling us that they love, or they love the songs and that they like the music, and that to me is just such a beautiful thing to hear. It's just really the best gift I've ever had in my whole life. And there's actually a cool story. Before the 3rd concert, we're so new that I hadn't even released anything online yet. And so right before the 3rd concert, we did a weekend blitz recording to get like an EP ready with 4 songs, like singles, and a couple of remixy kind of things. And the story had gotten so big that actually iTunes rushed it into the store for us within 24 hours to make sure that it would be ready for everybody to buy. And Amazon MP3 picked it up as well. And so that's called the You Move Me EP. And that's because we have a song called You Move Me that the geniuses, as I call them, picked for me. I asked them to help me pick my first single. And so, the 2nd and 3rd concerts were really long too. The 2nd one was 7.5 hours and the 3rd one was nearly 8 hours. So they had plenty of time to hear these songs and pick which one they liked the best.
But you came up with a brilliant idea.
And so once they picked this song, since the song is called You Move Me, and there's a line in the song I say, all around the world, you move me. And I had been when I wrote it, before I met everybody on G+, I had even been dreaming about maybe one day singing for people all over the world. And so I had even put in lines in other languages. I had said the words "you move me" in other languages. I said, "Tu me mueves, you move me, groove me, you move me. Tu me muevas, you move me so much I can't stop."
Wow.
And so now that I knew all these people from all around the world, I sent out a post on G+ and I said, "Look, I'm starting a SoundCloud Dropbox. Send me your voices saying the words "you move me" in your own languages."
How do you say it in Australia?
Oh, you tell me.
I can't sing. Aaron, how do you say it in Australia? I can't sing.
And so what we did was within an hour, we were flooded with entries in all of these different languages. And so we had Indonesian and 2 African languages. We had Twi and Aramaic, and we had Chinese and Japanese and Italian and French, and I'm sure I'm forgetting some, but I think I said that. And so what Ram did is he took their voices and he edited them for us, and we made it the introduction to the song. And so our very first introduction to the music world, really, on iTunes and on Amazon, was with our genius friends by our side, like kicking off the entire first EP. And so I'm really proud of that, and I think it's really exciting. And now we're working on finishing the rest of the record and getting that out.
Good stuff.
And I'm starting to get booked all over the place. I'm going to be in Nashville next month. I'm going out west after that, and things are just rolling. I've been contacted by Medium in France, so I'm fingers crossed going to be there.
You're on their playlist.
Yeah, they put me on their official playlist over the weekend, last weekend, and and South by Southwest. So there's a lot of stuff.
Awesome.
And it's really exciting.
I have a question.
You guys got to get me out to Australia. 'Cause
Yes, for
that's
sure.
where
Now,
I want to be.
I have a question for you now before you play a song. What are your favorite bands and influence for your music?
Okay. So we can probably both answer this.
Sure.
Because then our influences blend together. But for me, I find that all of the bands and artists that I've really gravitated to over my entire life seem to be pop and rock acts who are really also influenced by world influences. So there's this global theme going on in my life that I never noticed until now. So I love the Police and the way they merged reggae with punk and Sting.
Amen.
Yep.
And I love Dave Matthews, who was actually born in Africa, and you get these really sort of African rhythms in his guitar parts. I learned a lot about guitar playing from learning his songs. And Paul Simon and his Graceland album with Ladysmith Black Mambazo. And I really grew up listening to Bobby McFerrin and obviously the Beatles. And those are some of my favorites.
Good stuff.
And then there was a period where I studied. I'm a total vocal geek, and I love singing. So I've studied opera, and I've I studied jazz and scat and that kind of stuff too.
Cool.
And so it's all merged into the Daria sound.
Wicked
now,
stuff.
I guess.
Now, Jacob, you have a question for Daria.
Yes.
Go ahead, mate. Ask.
Hey.
I was just wanting to know, how did you get your start?
Oh, well, it's cool. I'm really lucky that I have an amazingly supportive family, and I'm really, really close with them. And both my parents are musicians. My mom is a classically trained flutist, and you guys probably know Juilliard, right? In New York City is one of the biggest classical music hubs in the world, and my mom trained there, and so she's a musician and a performer, and I really learned from her from the very beginning about performance and the kind of practice that is drilled in for classical musicians, that I think sometimes pop and rock musicians don't always get that message. And so my mom made sure I had that message for sure.
Cool.
And then so I had that kind of support at home, but I sort of discovered around the age of 9 that I liked singing after working my way unsuccessfully through violin and flute, because that was my mom's instrument, and piano and a number of other things. But I discovered that I could sing, sort of just singing like the Little Mermaid in the shower. And then I wanted a guitar, and so I said to my parents, I don't want an acoustic guitar, I want an electric guitar, I want to rock out, So at 13 I got a baby blue Fender Strat, which was the coolest moment ever, and I started from there. I started writing songs right away, and playing in clubs and bars way before I was old enough to get in there. And and just really pounded the pavement and played and wrote and practiced. And and then luckily Ram started working with me, and the way he started producing my songs started bringing this whole other life to them, and sort of brought to life a lot of what I was hearing in my own heart going on around the songs, and so everything kind of blossomed from there.
Cool. All right, good stuff. All right, now you're going to play one of your songs. What is it called?
I would love to. I think you want us to play. This one is called Plus One Me, it's brand new.
Love it.
And it's inspired by the whole G Plus experience that we've had, and it's really inspired by the first concert, because like I said, we played for 6.5 hours and we had no idea that we were going to, so we obviously started running out of material. And so there was a moment when I was chatting with people and filling and just having fun meeting all these wonderful people, and Ram started playing this really cool bass line. Here, he can do it for you right now, live. Yeah, just like that.
Good stuff.
And so I was chatting with people, and I was like, hey, that sounds really cool. And like I said, there were these moments, the moment in Norway and the moment with the little girls from your home place of Australia.
Yep.
And so I started riffing and coming up with lyrics on the fly. And then in the week in between the first and second concerts, we finished writing it and produced it. And so this is Plus One Me, and it's our sort of love letter to that night.
Cool.
And to G Plus. Yeah, so this is it.
Yep, cool. Far away. Yep.
Plus one me, baby, plus one me, baby, plus one me, baby. I watch the sunrise in Norway through your laptop screen. It never felt so good to be seen as when you looked at me. Nighttime here, morning in Australia. And I never felt so alive, and I never felt so in love. Plus one me, baby, 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 plus one me, baby. Yeah, 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 yeah. I've never been so awake. Stay up with you till daybreak. So connected, oh. And my heart is yours to take. 'Cause you draw circles around my world. And I wanna be your girl. Yeah, I wanna be your girl. Yeah, I wanna be your girl. Yeah, I wanna be your girl. Plus one me, baby. Plus one me, baby. Plus one me, baby. We're just riding the stream. Ride it out so long. You plus me, 'cause I love to see you face to face. Now it's falling into place. Plus one me, baby, 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 plus one me, yeah, plus one me, baby. Oh, no, no, now I'll never be alone. Now I'll never be alone. No, no, I will never be alone. 'Cause I know where we belong. Yeah, now I'll never be alone. 'Cause we know where we belong. Yeah, now I'll never be alone. 'Cause we know where we belong. Yeah, plus one me, baby, 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 plus one me. No, no, now I'll never be alone. Now I'll never be alone. No, no, 'cause we know where we belong. Yeah, we know where we belong. Yeah, now I'll never be alone. 'Cause I know where we belong. Yeah, now I'll never be alone. 'Cause I know where I belong.
Wow. Fantastic.
Excellent. Well done.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Great stuff.
Quick
Great
question,
stuff.
Daria.
Go ahead,
Yes,
Steve.
sir.
Go ahead.
What does Google think about the Plus One song? Did they actually make a response to that, or?
Yeah, I mean, it's been really exciting over the last few weeks. I've made a lot of friends, a lot of Googler friends, and they are the hippest, coolest, smartest people I've ever met. They're just amazing, and I know a lot of them know about the song and dig it, and they actually had me do a couple of little things for them, you know, over the airwaves through Hangouts, playing the song for a few people, and I hope to do more with them in the future, you know. So it's really exciting, and they certainly know how enthusiastic and how grateful I am, and I think it's really exciting because a lot of them seem excited about it too, which is really cool.
Great stuff. Great stuff. Now, Steve, you play bass, don't you? while we're talking music? You play bass, don't you?
Yeah, but it's been quite a while. It seems like broadcasting pretty much took it over. So I think I still remember chopsticks on the bass or something like that. I'm not sure. But
He's actually playing a pretty. I wish you guys could see it. Ram, you should tell him a little about your bass. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, sure.
It's a 5-string, but he doesn't string it like a normal 5-string. Why don't you tell them?
Yeah, it's strung with a high C, so I can play chordal because we mostly do this duo thing. And we
Most people put like a low. What is it?
Low B.
A low B,
Okay.
which is
Right.
like subterranean.
So it's like a regular bass with a high C on the top, so I can
Play
play, nice chordal things. So we can
Wow.
get a lot of sound for two people. And,
Yeah.
Definitely.
and this is actually made by a guy named Sukop. It's a boutique bass. I think he's out of Minnesota.
Yeah, it's
very,
awesome.
Very nice, very beautiful thing.
All right. Okay. Now, Ram, do you get much into technology at all, mate?
Do I get into technology?
Yeah.
Music tech.
Music tech?
Oh,
Music tech?
Yeah, I've been into it for a long time.
Okay. Cool.
You should tell them the Fairlight stuff because that's
Well,
Australia.
yeah,
right?
I
Yeah.
spent a lot of time in Australia because Fairlight was headquartered there in. Do
you want to tell people what that is?
As a computer musical instrument, which actually was the first compositional instrument you could do on a computer. Before the Mac came out, and you had the IBM stuff was really more for word processing, and so Fairlight developed the first sampling. Computer musical instrument, and what you could do is they had a thing called PageR, and you could actually pretty much program your music in. You could do it either by step or you could play it. But
And
it was
so you were
it was
te-
it
were
was
you teaching
8-bit.
that?
I was actually I had it, and I was actually hired out in studios for people. I would show up and do sessions, and people like OMD or Orchestral Maneuvers in the Dark, and
It's amazing how far we've come, though, right?
Yeah.
Because wasn't that monophonic? It was one note at a time.
well, no,
right?
it was eight. It was 8 voices, but each line was a monophonic. So
Wow.
it actually was a very interesting exercise. And I love Bach and counterpoint, so that was really interesting because you had to deal with singular lines, and it was kind of fun. Like if you want to play a chord, you had to play each note individually and build it that way. But it was very cool, and it was 8-bit, so and it was 7 seconds sampling time.
Wow.
So you had to learn how to find the zero crossing and make loops and try to make it not sound like.
I have a looping pedal the size of my fist that has like 2 hours of time in it.
Right. So nowadays it's just incredible that the sound designers have really taken it. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
And I
Cool.
have a lot of plugins and things that I love. So.
Good stuff,
And
good
we
stuff.
We work in tandem with both Pro Tools and Logic,
Right.
Apple's Logic, to create our stuff, right? And
Right.
yeah.
So do you guys, with your music, do you use any sort of like Apple sort of technology, like the iPad? Would you getting into the iPad
Oh yeah,
for music?
we're such Apple fans. I'm a big Apple fan. We both are.
Good.
We're working on iMacs, and I use my iPhone every second of every day, like to capture song ideas into the little microphone
Yep.
recordy thing, and
Yep.
and if we're like in the car, I can pull up a little keyboard app or something to come up with something while we're on a trip to a
Wow.
show.
Cool.
Talk about some of the stuff that.
Well, we try to use everything we can. We have a camera set up all the time, so if we get an idea, we just record it into that and then dump it into Apple, and I can use that as a reference. I use Pro Tools a lot. There's a lot of instruments in the Pro Tools.
And Logic, all the Apple stuff is really...
All the stuff is. I actually love the Logic 9 because they have a lot of really great new features, and the flexing you can do it. You can.
Flex time.
Flex
yeah,
time
that's really fun. I like the pedal board, and I don't know if you guys,
Yeah, the guitar
anyone
sets.
listening has Logic, but there's a really cool pedal board that looks just like when you build a pedal board in real life for your guitar setup, and it's got these really cute looking pedals, and I don't know, maybe as a girl, like visually, it's just really fun to look at them and play around with that.
They're
and-
great. They're actually great.
Yeah, I like Logic because I'm such an Apple person, and so with not having a lot of music production background myself, I'm really a guitar player and a singer-songwriter. I was able to open Logic like on day one and really kind of intuitively understand what I was doing, and so I have a lot of fun like demoing my stuff, and then I can send it to Ram and he can work on it like independently as well. So I think that really speaks to it. Whereas I could pull up Pro Tools and like stare at it and not
Yeah.
know what's going on. Yeah.
All right,
Yeah,
okay.
it's-
Let's chat to Aaron about some tech. Aaron, what's been going on, mate, in the tech news? before we
man,
go?
it's been a huge week. Yeah, it's been pretty funny how Microsoft, Apple, and Google have been trying to get some press for themselves this week. They're looking to show that Tim Cook is making his own decisions as CEO. Microsoft are trying to drum up news for Windows 8 because they're about to do their Microsoft Build conference next week, and that will be the real official reveal of Windows 8.
Right.
And Google's chairman Eric Schmidt inadvertently let slip that Android 4.0 will be out next month or November.
Okay.
And let it slip on purpose. But all of these things have just slipped right under the radar because Yahoo and AOL really dominated the news this week. And the interesting parts of that for Tech Webcast listeners, with Yahoo, I mean, they've sacked their CEO. And there's a mutiny over there right now with their board of directors, and really the company's for sale. Jerry Yang, who's one of the co-founders of the company, denied it the next day, but he's a liar. And the company's definitely for sale. And the interesting part of that is really that the company will just be ripped up to shreds, And so things like Flickr, Yahoo Mail, Yahoo Messenger.
Really? What's going to happen with Flickr?
Well, I mean, the thing is that...
Will it go away? I hope it doesn't, because I use it all the time.
Well, no, I don't think it'll go away at all. But the thing is that Yahoo really is like 3 different types of companies all merged together in a stupid way.
Right, okay.
And, the value of the Yahoo brand is really as a media organization. So what they really need to do is get rid of all of the technology and stop being a technology company and just focus on being a broadcaster, really. And that's really their future. I mean, they're trying to buy Hulu right now, and that's perfect for their future. So someone needs to come in and buy that company and really just cut all the deadwood out. You can imagine that Microsoft and Google will be all over the technology stuff.
Yep.
Yahoo really do have some amazing technology that doesn't get used. And their advertising and search technologies are heavily patented as well. So you probably find that Microsoft will probably buy parts of Yahoo. Private equity will buy the majority of Yahoo. All their Asian stuff will be sold off. It's going to really just be like vultures picking the flesh off the carcass over the next 12 months. So that's going to be interesting to see. But the other one is that Mike Arrington, who runs TechCrunch, got fired.
Yeah, he did. I've seen that.
Parent company,
Unbelievable.
AOL.
Can't believe it.
Yeah, yeah, I can't believe it either. And the interesting part was that I found myself in the middle of all the discussion about this sort of stuff because with this story for AOL, it brings up a lot of layers of nonsense going on over there, mainly for the fact that they're trying to manage different things. They've brought in the Huffington Post. They bought that company, and Ariana Huffington is the president of all their media properties, and so she's the one who's fired Mike Arrington. And they're all trying to show who's boss. But really, the weird part is that Mike Arrington is being held to a journalistic standard by Huffington, and that seems just ridiculous for a guy who's a blogger, and TechCrunch is a blog. And, for those of you who don't know, listening to the show, not only do I write for OzTechNews.com, but I'm also a contributor for Business Insider. It's one of the biggest websites in the world. And I wrote an article which is titled, Are We Being Cheated of Objective Journalism? And that was published on Business Insider on Sunday. And the story got picked up, and really what I was on about in that article was I was sort of saying, why should Mike Arrington get fired? It seems a bit ridiculous how all the journalists are saying that he's got disclosure issues and he's got bias issues because, he got fired because he was wanting to invest money in the companies that he's been writing articles about. And I was sort of saying, well, but the guy isn't a journalist in the first place, so why is he being held to a journalistic standard? It seems a bit ridiculous. And really, AOL should sort of understand that what they've got there isn't a media property as such. It's just a blog, and they all say that they write biased opinion stuff. So they should treat it as such. They should just leave the guys alone. And then I sort of suggested that, moving forward from there, that if there's this whole journalists versus bloggers debate. Well, one idea could be that, if people really wanted to regulate a sort of journalism standard that everyone holds each other to in the media world, why not create a not-for-profit journalism body that journalists could register with and hold each other to an official standard? sort of like licensing journalists. And that really got like pushed around a lot around the web, So, techmeme.com, mediabistro.com, mediagazer.com, they're all running this story. And GigaOM even wrote an article in refute of my article and really brought this discussion around full circle. So that's been happening all week.
Yep.
And, I'm just sitting back
Crazy
at
stuff.
my PC sort of going like, oh, righto, I've started a huge debate about, about Mike Harrington. But anyway, so that was going on this week as well. And,
right.
and as you
Good
said,
stuff,
Brad,
mate.
it's ended with Mike Harrington being
Yeah,
fired
not
anyway.
good,
He couldn't
not
save
good.
his job.
Yeah, not good.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, Steve, any news you want to add into the mix, mate, before we chat with Daria again before we go?
Yeah, I just got two quick news items. It's pretty interesting. One is the recently Adobe just released the Adobe Flash Media Server 4.5, which allows streaming on iOS devices.
Right.
And some of the protocols that was mentioned is HTTP dynamic streaming and HTML5. So that's good news for Apple mobile
Cool.
devices.
Good stuff,
be able
mate.
to watch video.
Wicked. Any else?
And we got something on the Android side. This was the news item, which was Android developers don't make as much money on Android apps. And originally, I thought the reason being is because it's based on Android, which is free, and based on Linux. So I figure most of the people would expect most of the apps to be free. But surprisingly enough, it's due to piracy. Obviously, since it's easy to hack into, people have been taking the app and putting on websites for other people to download and put on their Android devices. So hopefully they'll have a solution so developers will get paid for their hard work.
Cool, good stuff, mate. Now, you're also getting an iPhone iPad case very soon to review. Can't wait for that.
That's going to be the Dodo case.
Yep.
Sponsored by
Great
Tech
case.
Webcast.
Yes, indeed. And Steve, what's coming up on your show? Just a quick plug for your show, Steve. What's coming up?
Boy. Let me see.
Put it on the
I got
spot, was
some news items coming up. I
Yep.
may be doing my next news clip on the USS Lexington. They have actually 350 Corvettes. They're going to be on the flight deck, and they're going to
Nice.
have a car show. So I may cover that coming up.
Good stuff, mate. Good stuff. Can't wait to hear from that. Also, Jacob, you have a news story you want to discuss real quick. What's up with that, mate?
Yes, it's about Apple.
Okay, more details, mate.
Yeah, the heading is Apple finally removes Dignotar certificates in a Safari.
Okay, cool, mate. Cool, good stuff.
And the actual story, if you want to hear it.
Okay, you want to read it out to us, or is it too long?
No, it's not too long.
Go ahead, read it out. If you want to read it, read it.
Okay. Apple has finally released a fix for the certificate trust issue caused by the attack on Dignotar more than a week after the fraudulent certificates were identified and other browsers vendors moved to revoke trust in them, while Microsoft, Mozilla, and Google had been communicating with other users about the issues and pushing out new versions and updates to eliminate the compromised certificate authorities from their browsers. Apple had been mum about the attack and hadn't been given any indication of when it might issue an update for Safari on Friday. The company published a security advisory for Mac OS X users saying that it was removing Dignotar certificate from its trust list.
Cool, good job, mate. Great news story. Cam, any stuff you want to report on, mate? What's been going on with you?
We've been keeping up the events going on at
Cool.
hangoutparty.com like
Good
we
stuff.
talked about.
Good stuff, mate. Good stuff. Good to hear.
We had a zombie-thon yesterday.
Yeah, Zombie-Von, that looks pretty cool. I've seen some photos of that. Looks pretty cool.
Yeah,
I got
been,
zombified.
Yeah. Good stuff.
We've been connecting with a lot of different artists and finding that a lot of artists like to bring their talents to Google+.
Yep, definitely. Okay, all right. So, Daria, what's next for you before we go? Any tours or any? Can I come to Australia?
I would really love to. You guys got to help me get out there.
Yeah, well, I think we should
Yeah,
start.
sure.
We should start a chip-in or something and get some money together and fly you over here.
Oh my God, that would be incredible. I
Oh,
will
yeah.
sing in your living rooms if I have to.
Shit, yeah. That'd be cool.
I hope that this podcast, we will be able to look back in maybe a month's time and be like, this was the thing that got it all started.
Exactly.
To get Daria to
Exactly.
Australia.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree. I agree with that.
Thank you so much again for having us. This has been such a thrill, and thanks for letting me gab on about everything. And
No problem.
And I just want to let you guys know that the EP that I mentioned, the You Move Me EP, Daria Musk, I made sure that it was available in the iTunes Australia store.
Cool.
So you guys can totally
Excellent.
grab that if you want.
We'll do. We'll do. I'll be buying it and giving it away to people. Steve, where can they find you on Twitter, mate?
That's going to be Chatterbox Chatterbox _live.
All right. All right. You can find me on Twitter at Brad Oz and Tech Webcast. Aaron?
OzTech News, so OZ Tech News, and also oztechnews.com.
All right. And Cam, where can they find you, mate?
Hangoutparty.com.
Twitter? You got Twitter, mate?
Do not Twitter. I'm full G+, Google Plus all the way.
Oh, you don't have Twitter. Right. Okay.
Legends.
Legend, yeah. And Jacob?
Jazzbot32669 on Twitter.
Couldn't understand one word you said. And Daria Musk, where can they find you?
Oh man, you can Google Daria Musk and
Yes.
I'll pop up everywhere, but definitely Daria Musk on Google Plus.
Yes.
And DariaMusk.com and on iTunes and Amazon.
Cool, you're a legend. And thanks
you guys. You guys are.
Yeah, no, your music's great. Your voice is just amazing. It's unbelievable. And
Thank you so much.
and yeah, you need to get recognised over here in Australia and get over here and sing and play concerts
I
and stuff.
cannot wait.
Yeah.
You guys are the holy grail for me. That is such a cool place that I've dreamed of coming to, and singing for you guys would just mean the world to me. So I'm there. Let's make it happen.
Definitely. And
right.
thank you to Ram for being on as well, mate.
Oh, thank you very much.
No problem. Can they, you have you got Twitter at all? Where can they find you?
I think if I'm on G Plus at Ram,
Ram, yep.
Ram Rich and G Plus, and Twitter Ram Uzik.
Ram Music.
It's
Yeah.
RAMUSIC.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Now-
and I'm on Twitter as well.
Yep.
At Daria Musk.
Good
I'm
stuff.
pretty much just Daria Musk everywhere.
Good stuff. Now, have you guys been on many podcasts or radio shows just before we go? Been interviewed by many people?
It's starting to pick up real fast, but I think, maybe since G Plus, I think you're our maybe like fifth or so.
Cool.
We've been on a couple others that are cool from the States, music related and tech related and
Nice.
all sorts of stuff. Yeah.
All right. Good stuff. All right. Thanks for being on, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, this one was the most fun.
Yep. Definitely. For sure. Definitely.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
Hi, Glenn from Aussie Tech Heads. Join Will, Eric and myself as we bring you the latest, most up-to-date important tech news that affects you from Australia and the world. Weekly podcast available each Friday through iTunes. Watch the live stream recording of the show at live.thesecrethub.com each Thursday night 7:30pm or GMT plus 10. Call in live via Skype or chat in our lounge. However you get us, just make sure you do. Listen or visit our website for more information, www.aussietechheads.com.au. Aussie Tech Heads, Australia's longest running tech news
Thanks for
podcast.
listening. Be sure to check out Tech Webcast on blip.tv and subscribe to our podcast on iTunes to make sure you always have the latest episode at your fingertips. Tech Webcast, Tech Talk for Geeks.